Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and wherever you're watching in the world, welcome along to the TTL F1 Sprint Cup, where the first round takes us to the Austrian Grand Prix in this quick-fire 4-round championship. My name is Kieran McGinley, and of course it wouldn't be a TTL F1 stream if we didn't have the lovely, the commendable Mr. James here. James, how are you tonight?
That's a fantastic introduction, by the way. I'll take that. Thank you very much, Kieran. I'm doing really well. How's yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, first of all, we got to explain the series rules. So if you're not familiar with this Sprint Cup series, here you'll get enlightened. So we have 4 rounds. We have 4 tracks we're going to, which includes Austria, which we're racing here tonight. We've also got the likes of Germany, we've got Italy, and then Belgium to round it off. At each round, we'll have 2 races, each decided by a one-shot qualifying, then followed by 2 25% races. Now, in those races, you now have an alternate points scoring strategy. So the winner will score 30 points. The points then descale all the way down to 19th place scoring 1 point, and then 20th place scores 0 points whatsoever. As always, with TTL F1 rules in force, you have to make it to the checkered flag and finish the race in order to be eligible to score points. Now, of course, when we get to 2 rounds of one-shot qualifying, it really does depend on consistency, and consistency is going to be key at a track like Austria. 3 DRS zones and only 10 corners around this track. You blitz your way around Spielberg in this high-speed, high-downforce track that also relies heavily on how low down the car actually is. Good overtaking opportunities include turn 3, which is just after that slight kink of turn 2, which people argue isn't a corner. I can see why. You've also got the run down towards turn 4 before the long looping left-hander of turn 6 and 7. It's a good opportunity, but it is very narrow on the apex of the corner. Really, if you're on the outside, you're going to struggle for grip. And, well, that's about it for overtaking opportunities. Turns 3 and 4 seem to be the way to go. However, there are plenty of opportunities to get it wrong. As always, going in towards turn 9, you've got the awkward pit lane entrance, where, of course, in these races, one stop is mandatory, unless, of course, it rains, where you can theoretically get a set of inters or wets to the end, although you'll be a brave man for trying. But, of course, when it comes down to it, James and I are going to be in the box and hopefully seeing some fantastic racing from start to finish. First of all, the first race here at Austria, which again is decided by a one-shot qualifying. Everybody clear? I understand if you're not, because it's explained by me. But anyway, we're here for some great racing and 2 lots of it as well. So fingers crossed, it can live up to expectations.
I think, honestly, it's going to be fantastic racing tonight. We have got 3 former or current champions on the grid as well. We've got Recon, we've got Carlsberg, the TTL F1 League 1 champion, Recon obviously being the former champion, and Mashiro, 2-time TTL F1 League 2 champion. Add to that Scuba, who on his day is very quick. Add to that in Josh M97, CPI Lewis. There you go. That's enough to whet the appetite, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that. And we've got lots of drivers here looking to try and take that Sprint Cup championship. And of course, James, this is, well, I said last time around, this is the last TTL F1 race. We've got the TTL F1 Sprint Cup. So this is really the last series before the rebrand. So it's a last chance to grab some silverware. And I think, James, it's a time for us to reflect on times old and drivers new as well.
Yeah, I'd like to... with the TTL F1 League Sprint, the Sprint Cup that we've got tonight, I honestly think it's a bit of past, present and future, to be honest, because obviously we've got drivers from our old past, like Sean, like Mays racing tonight. We've got our drivers from present, like Mashiro, like Carlsberg, the 2 champions, and then we've got the drivers of future, like Scuba in. It's going to be fascinating, I think, to see how these guys all line up. Obviously, they're in the multiplayer cars tonight, so it's not going to be realistic Formula 1 cars. The weather is going to be unclear. It should be the even battleground that we should have next season. Yeah,
fingers crossed we get ourselves some great action here tonight. And as always, if you're in the chat there, welcome along. If you're new to TTTV, make sure you give that subscribe button a big hit, as well as that notification bell, so you never miss another stream here on TTTV. Now, of course, this similar format has already been run on Tuesday in the Classic Series, and I got a chance to tune into that, and the sound of the V8s were... well, they make your day. They really do. James, I mean, you were there to commentate. You're working overtime here as we head towards a new game cycle, but just talk us through that Classic Cup series.
Yeah, the Classic Series, honestly, on Tuesday night, obviously myself and Aidan were taking you through that one. It was great to see the nostalgia, the 2010 F1 cars on there, the Ferrari, the McLaren, and the Red Bull. Obviously, around Australia, it was the McLarens who had the advantage. I'm not going to spoil the results for anyone. You can have a check on the stream later on if you want, or if you want to watch the PS5 event, then you can as well. But I think the Classic Series, from this, we've got quite a few drivers from the Classic Series racing here tonight. So it's going to be interesting to see, have they got that mentality across from the Classic Series back into the new norm, essentially, with the multiplayer cars, and how are the drivers going to line up? I mean, we're just 30 seconds away, it seems.
Yeah, 30 seconds away from some great racing. 17 drivers turning up tonight, which is a great number, especially towards the end of a game cycle. We always tend to worry when it's towards the end where we think, do you think people are going to turn up? Do you not think so? But I think lots of drivers are really looking forward to this sprint series. And 225% races seems to be a really big thing, especially with the virtual GP, or not the GP, that's the one, because there's two of them now. Not the GP run this similar system. But instead, in the second race day, I believe they run a reverse grid for the second race. So this is two qualifying results added together basically for each of the two races. So I'm looking forward to it. It's two chances to try and grab pole position. There's no points up for grabs pole position, at least not yet. More on that later. But it's a chance for drivers to try two attempts to get pole position. Let's see who can grab the first pole position of the series.
Yeah, I think with the Classic Series as well, just to bear a little bit of comparison in, we saw some of the guys necessarily in the mid-pack of all the TTL leagues last season come towards the front in the Classic Series. It's going to be like the normal, I think, with the multiplayer cars. We're going to be seeing these guys run for pretty much the first time in these cars, the first time in a few months, I think, maybe for a few of these guys. But honestly, it should be quite fascinating. And as I say, it's going to be the new norm. And we should see the guys who are normally at the top be at the top, but Spielberg can be an unforgiving track at times.
It can be indeed, and especially it's so short here, one of the shortest on the calendar. There really is no margin for error when it comes to a track like this. You can easily find that the top 10 are separated by maybe half a second, if that. So it's crucial that you get that lap time absolutely spot on. I've seen before that the entire field is split by just under 3 or 4 tenths of a second. But meanwhile, we're riding on board with Sean then as we climb up towards turn 1, turning in here, trying to clip that apex. Watch out for the exit as well. That's going to be a hairy section at the end of lap 1. Full throttle now as you make your way towards the ascent in through turn 2 and on towards turn 3. You can use that little bit of curb on the left-hand side here. Very tight corner. Try and clip the apex if you can. Watch the exit, the traction on there. If you've not got the right setup, the car will weave left and right as you exit there. Now on the descent, down towards turn 4. The hills here are something. In towards turn 4 now, trying to turn it in. Make sure you get the throttle good on the way out, otherwise you risk that wheel spin. Now in towards turn 6 and 7. Very easy to overcommit here, and you've got that gravel trap right on the outside to take advantage of any mistake you make through there. Now going through turn 8, very easy to understeer on the exit of 7. That can compromise your exit in towards there and your entrance into 8. Now into Rint Corner now, through turn 9, and then on towards turn 10 here. Very quick section of corners there. You can see Sean just clip that sleeping policeman on the inside, and it is going to be Toxic who grabs the first pole position of the series for the first 25% race. A 104, a low 104 at that as well, and a great lap from Toxic. Not much to separate the top 17, that's for sure.
Yeah, Toxic ahead of Carlsberg and Recon, which is quite interesting.
Absolutely, and then you can see the top 8 separated by less than a second there, so that's great to see. You've got Xerox there, who tried a lap on the medium tyres. Didn't quite work out for him. He starts P14, but at least he'll be starting ahead of Josh, Casper and Vaporeon, who all had their lap times disqualified and invalidated on that run. You've got Scuba just qualifying outside of the top 10. For an advantage then, the Irishman will be able to qualify, or start at least, on whichever tyre they like for this one. You've got Laser, who's a driver I haven't come across before, so I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on. He's starting on the second row of the grid in 4th place.
Yeah, Laser actually was part of the academy team for the mini league back in the day. He earned a promotion, actually, I think, to the main team, which is fantastic. Laser has got a lot of pace about him, and it was shown there, finishing 4th. Behind Carlsberg and Recon, one former champion, one current champion. Not too bad going, I think.
No, not at all. And of course, 17 drivers here tonight. Of course, we do have a reserve in Blaze, but obviously Blaze couldn't make it tonight. There's no obligation for him to race, of course. But we do have drivers like Xerox and, as you said there, Laser are two drivers that I haven't come across before. I've come across Josh M before in, I think, a fun event, if memory serves me well. But I'm looking forward to these drivers locking horns and seeing how we get on in this first race here. Of course, 2 races here tonight, so don't assume everything is over at the first checkered flag this race. We of course do have another race and another one-shot qualifying coming up later tonight. But first, we've got some settling to do here. 18 laps around the Spielberg track here in Austria, as we now make our way up towards turn 1 with Toxic leading the way. Now, of course, everybody's got a different livery, so it's going to be very difficult to identify cars, but hopefully over the next 4 weeks we can do our best.
I think the TTG guys will be running the liveries that they run within the mini league, so it'll be easier to navigate who is going to be part of the team and part of whatever else. But we've got Casper as well down in 16th. He's going to be the exception rather than the rule, I think. He's on a set of mediums, the only one out of the 17 drivers on a set of mediums. That could be quite interesting from later on in the race. I would expect him to be around lap 10, lap 11, going to a set of softs. I think the guys on a set of softs, obviously, they're on the fresher softs, they can maybe last a lap or 2 longer, but for those in the top 10, Toxic down all the way to Key in 10th position, they're going to be starting on pretty worn soft compound of tyres. Don't be surprised if they're about 4-5% worn already, and expect to see them in around lap 5, lap 6, I think.
Absolutely, and when it comes to 25% races, you really can earn a lot if you're able to get to half race distance on those qualifying tyres. That's going to be crucial for these drivers. They're going to be looking maybe even towards lap 9 before they go onto a set of the medium tyres. That should get them to the end of the race. But as Toxic rounds the final corner for the first formation lap tonight, he'll make his way on towards the grid then to start this race, at least on pole position, with 16 other drivers behind, waiting to take full advantage of any bad start that could happen. So as they line up onto the grid then for the first race here tonight in TTL F1 in the Custom Sprint Cup, we are moments away from the first race here at round 1 at the Austrian Grand Prix. And any moment now we will see those red lights start to light up to signal the start of this championship then, as we head towards the 5 red lights here in Spielberg. We are underway. What are the starts like? It's a great start from Recon. It's going to be Toxic here who's in trouble. Kalsper gets a great start off the line, but he hasn't got anywhere to go. Now in through turn 1. Oh, there's contact between Toxic and Recon there. Recon loses that back end and drifts wayward there towards the racing line. Lucky he didn't take anybody else out there. He has to drop to 4th place, but now he's under huge pressure from cars behind. You've got the likes of Mashiro and Laser putting pressure on him as Carlsbury tries to make a move on Recon as well. No way through for him at this moment in time. Meanwhile, Toxic still leads the way then as we make our way now down the hill towards turn 4. You've got Carlsbury there trying to make a move. You've also got Laser and Mashiro battling their way through in towards turn 4. Running a ball with Laser now as he's got Mashiro just to his right-hand side. You've got Recon trying to make his way past on Carlsbury there. In through turn 7 we go, or through turn 6 I should say, and Carlsbury loses out there to Recon, who tried to make that attack. Scuba meanwhile up the inside of Josh, but just about squeezes through on the outside going through turn 7, and you can see there lots of drivers trying to take advantage of that slipstream as we make our way through. Josh up the inside of Key in towards turn 9. Now Scuba has his chance up through turn 10. Those are both not overtaking opportunities, but Josh and Scuba did not give a damn as they move up a position. Key will be eager to get that position back in towards turn 1, only this time he can't quite get the run he wants. After lap 1 then Toxic leads the way from Kalsper and Chubbs up to 3rd.
Yeah, Chubbs up to 3rd, making a really good start. Laser's lost a couple of positions early on. He's on the back of Mashiro. He's looking to go for the move down and towards the hill. However, Sean, from an absolute mile back, nearly makes contact with him down towards turn 3. Got Vaporon and Charlie side by side. In fact, Vaporon has got the move done on Charlie. Maze is going to go side by side, but a very clean start. Invictus, I think, was the only one that picked up front wing damage on that first lap. But now we've got Maze down the inside of Charlie. Is he going to get the move done? The Brit on his fellow countryman? He does. Maze is through. Casper could go through as well.
Yeah, Casper looking there. Oh, that was a squeeze there from Charlie. Casper tried to put his front wing there, but yeah, you could see half a car not alongside. You could see why Charlie was drifting back over there. There's a green car going wayward there. I think there was Scuba there going through turn 8 there, but he's looking at the back of Sean, then in through that turn 9 and then through turn 10. You can see there lots of pressure on their Key with the first 3-second time penalty of this race, and I can guarantee you it will not be the last. Lots of battles happening up and down the field. DRS is online.
Yeah, we had some fantastic overtakes as well on lap 1. Will we see more of the same? Casper down the inside of Charlie, down towards turn 1, gets the move done. So the Finn is through and he's up to 14th position. We've got Recon trying to go around the outside of Chubbs. This is for third, the former champion of TTL F1 against the new boy Chubbs. It's going to be side by side, running down towards turn 4. It's Academy versus main team here in the mini league, in the sprint series. Got the three. Carlsbury on the back, but Recon trying to go around the outside of Chubbs. Can he get the move done? It's still side by side. I can't believe this is still side by side. They've pretty much gone the whole entire lap. And Recon now down the inside gets the move done. Just sideswiped him slightly, but he was entitled to do that. He had the corner, he had the move. Recon's up the third.
Yeah, Recon just holding on then, but Chubbs is not going to make this easy for him whatsoever. Josh, meanwhile, on the back of Mashiro as we make our way over the crest towards turns 9 and 10. The final 2 corners of this lap. This time is flying by. We're already almost on to lap 4. There goes Toxic then, still the leader of this race. Kalsper, the reigning TTL F1 champion and arguably the last TTL F1 champion here racing tonight. He's currently in second place, but Carlsbury right on the back of Chubbs. Now you see there Chubbs getting a little bit wide on turn 1 on the exit. He caught the curve there. That could be the end of his P4 if Carlsbury tries to find a way through as they make their way through turn 2, onwards now towards turn 3. Of course, it goes uphill, so you can leave braking slightly later there. To be fair, they give each other the space there. Carlsbury has a little bit of DRS then, but so too does Chubbs there as we make our way down towards turn 4. You can see trying to make the move here is that red and yellow car of Carlsbury up the inside of turn 4. Can Chubbs try a move here? No, it's not quite just done there. But Kalsper, meanwhile, speaking of the lead of the race now, has taken it from Toxic. James, did you see that one?
Yeah, Danny Rick-esque down the inside of turn 4. Kalsper on the inside line. Toxic gave him the room. It's quite easy at the end of the day. Kalsper and Toxic, I know they're going to be in a party together, but a good move by Kalsper, and he's up into the lead of the race. And they've just pulled a gap of 1.1 seconds now to Recon. It was 1.5 at the start lap. So Recon now in clear air, beginning to close. And I think Laser's got the fastest lap as well.
Yeah, at this moment in time, of course, as we make our way once again up towards turn 1, Kalsper leading the way ahead of Toxic. Recon there in third place. Carlsbury in fourth. He's managing to try and get away from Chubbs, but he's not quite out of DRS range just yet. Meanwhile, Laser here is looking to put pressure on Chubbs as he makes his way now down in towards turn 3. Up the hill we go. Not quite the move this time around. Being on the outside there favoured Chubbs there to get the traction down. Meanwhile, still a battle for the lead going on then. Toxic tries to take the move in towards turn 4. Up the inside he goes, and now he's back ahead of Kalsper. Expect that battle to be going on time after time, especially if they've both got DRS on each other.
Yeah, and if both of them are going to be battling, it's going to let Recon and possibly Carlsbury into play as well. Recon now just within DRS range, within 9/10 of a second. Chubbs picks up a 3-second time play. I think he track extended maybe through turn 7. Toxic though leading the way, Kalsper second, Recon in third. It's like the old of Thursday nights this with TTL F1. Toxic leading, Kalsper second, Recon third. And Laser's just gone through on Chubbs, and Chubbs in fact into the pits. Josh into the pits, and Mashiva win as well.
Yeah, lots of drivers in as they try to keep to the left-hand side of that track. It's a very awkward pit lane. It can catch you out if you're not careful. Meanwhile, Charlie is on the back of Key here. Meanwhile, all 17 drivers are still in this race. Josh has put on a set of hard tyres to get him to the end of the race. I'm not sure that's the right call. He might struggle for pace here with those hard tyres. Meanwhile, Recon and Kalsper battling away. Sorry, Toxic and Kalsper. Force of habit there as we make our way now down towards turn 4. Kalsper with that DRS gets that runny knees down towards turn 4. It can easily take the racing line before the braking zone.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, Kalsper sort of forced Toxic into a bit of a mistake there coming through turn 3, and that just forced Kalsper to get the better run down towards turn 4. Kalsper back into the lead of the race, but Recon, watch out for him because he's quicker than these three out on track now. He's 1.5 seconds clear of Carlsbury. He's got to try and make this stick now within the race. We should see the leaders, I think, coming maybe next lap around.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, it's important that you try and get to half race distance as best as you possibly can, because then you'll get the...
Sorry to cut in. Jesus Christ, Josh was trying to go down the inside of Chubbs. Sorry to cut in there, Kieran. He didn't make the move stick.
Well, he certainly tried it enough to make you, well, say a few choice words there, absolutely. But Josh here, on the hard tyres, I have to say, I'm not sure if that's going to be the right call. It might be towards the end of the race, but he might be lacking on pace in this early stage.
Yeah, he will be, and I think Chubbs is just beginning to pull away. Scuba's behind him as well, so the Irishman and the Brit are going to do battle. I know Scuba back in the day of when I used to run a league back in the day, and Scuba was a very quick driver, and I'm sure he's going to try and give him a little bit of something to pay, I think. Scuba on the back of Josh. Josh very late on the brakes, though. But remember, those hards are going to be coming in towards the end of the race. You can see a little bit of shine on the tyres. That indicates that they are already reaching temperature, and Scuba is already on the back of Josh. But with this DRS train, they're not going to get through quite lightly. Scuba having to go down the inside, never going to pull off the move. Recon, though, is through on Toxic, and Toxic's in, Carlsberg's in as well. Yeah,
he had to go the long way round there. Had to be very careful there, but Recon finds his way through. Now leading here on lap 8 of this race. Carlsberg, Toxic and Sean all into the pits. It'll be interesting to see. Laser here is the leader of this sort of pack here. Let's see what happens. And Carlsberg's out.
Carlsberg's out. Carlsberg's out through turn 1. I think he's got caught on the outside curb, if I'm not mistaken. And he has. He's off to the left-hand side. There he is, Carlsberg, out of the race. I think he's made a mistake through turn 1. Simple as that.
I think he has, and unfortunately that is the end of his first race. Of course, he's got the second race to go, so he can still stick around with us for a little bit longer. Yeah, Carlsberg will be frustrated with that one. He'll be absolutely kicking himself there, that is for sure. But meanwhile, we've got to focus on the race in hand, because Laser, who had a good opportunity, hasn't made that undercut work. Carlsberg and Toxic rejoin pretty much in tandem, and Carlsberg holds the, well, net lead of this race.
Yeah, Carlsberg going down the inside actually on zero. Toxic trying to get through here as well. Little Softs are going to be shot now on Zero's car. Toxic's to the outside through turn 6. Is he really going to try and think about this? He is. He's going to try and think about it. Could go switch back down towards turn 7. In the meantime, Recon is into the pits from the lead of the race, and Toxic being stuck behind Zero is giving a massive advantage now to Carlsberg and possibly Recon. If Zero stays out, Toxic stays behind him, Recon's going to be in second for sure, and that is exactly going to be the case, I think, because he's staying out.
Yeah, he is staying out. You can see that Toxic gets the much better run through turn 10 and with some DRS as well, compounding that as well. And he gets in towards turn 1 just about ahead of Zero here as Xerox, as Recon rejoins behind Xerox as well as we make our way now in through turns 2 and 3. But yeah, Recon gained some time there, but he rejoins behind the yet to stop Xerox.
Yeah, Xerox actually running very wide. Yeah, running really wide. And Recon, I think, is going to get this move done. I think he got put off by that mistake, to be honest. He's just lost about 5 tenths.
Now, unfortunate there for him. He's just got to keep those tyres in check as best as he possibly can, at least for now, because he's not doing too bad of a job. Meanwhile, the gap for the lead is half a second at this moment in time. The gap for 6th place, well, battling as well between 4 drivers, Chubbs, Josh, Mashiro and Scuba, all battling for that 6th place. And of course, with this alternate point scheme, as we've got Invictus, who has now retired from the race at the end of the pit lane. That's the end of his first race there. Good chance of points, though, to get on the board, especially, but unfortunately for him, the first race for him is done.
Yeah, first race done, and he was yet to pit, I think, as well for Invictus. So sadly, he already came in. Zero finally is into the pit, so that now frees Laser, Chubbs, that little battle that's in behind for now, and net P5 out on track. Josh could get Chubbs down towards turn 1. He is close enough, and he's on a set of hard, remember, and I've got to say he's doing a fantastic job on a set of hard compound of tyres. Mashiro, though, the TTL F1 League 2 defending champion, has got Scuba to deal with, and this is on the run up towards turn 3. Can the Irishman get the better of the Japanese man? Scuba trying to think about the outside. Could be another bit of a box effect. Oh, Mashiro's got off! Mashiro's got off and into Chubbs. Unbelievable.
Yeah, Mashiro completely missed his braking there and has gone into the side of Chubbs. Yeah, he just locked up completely. It went straight on, and Mashiro, I think, has retired out of that one purely. I think he knows he was at fault there and has retired on the back of that. Chubbs was caught up in that one. Does he have any damage? Yes, he does. Right-hand side end plate there for Chubbs, and I think that was just a really honest mistake there from Mashiro. He just entirely missed his braking point and had nowhere to go other than straight on.
Yeah, and Chubbs was in the wrong place at the wrong time. If he timed it about half a second earlier, I think Mashiro would have been clear and everyone would have avoided him. It's just the minute differences that F1 can bring. Recon, by the way, is charging. He's on the back of Toxic and Carlsberg, 7/10 of a second and just over a second battling for the top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Very close between these three at this moment in time, heading in towards turn 3. Scuba, meanwhile, kept his head down through all that madness and has now got himself P5 as a reward. In towards turn 3 he goes, and he's ahead of Josh. But can Josh get the traction down? He's going to struggle on those hard tyres for traction, especially. He's still got the DRS, though, on the Irishman, heading down towards turn 4. Josh moves to the right-hand side of the track, then he's got the inside line in towards turn 4. Locks up slightly there. You saw that little puff of smoke there from the tyres. Locks up, trying to slow the car down. They're still side by side on the entrance in towards turn 6 there. Oh, Scuba's around. No room for the both in towards turn 6. And that's a case of Scuba hitting that side plate there, or side pod, and just being spun around. No room for the both of them through there.
Yeah, Josh, to be honest, just looked like he turned in slightly on Scuba. It's a racing incident at the end of the day. Scuba was entitled to the inside. He had no other place to go, really, than to the side of him.
Fastest lap of the race there, you can see set. Toxic, meanwhile, has got a very good exit out of turn 1 right now on the back of the race leader, Kalsper, as we make our way now up the hill in towards turn 3. He's got the inside line, Toxic, but maybe Kalsper might be thinking strategically. He's got the exit, he's got the run out of turn 4, has he? We've got this nice shot here as he's got DRS, trying to close in bit by bit as we head towards turn 4 now. He's on the inside of Toxic. Toxic has the outside of turn 4, and he's held on there, Toxic. Great defending there, just about held on, and Kalsper stays in second.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. We've got Sean and Vapor on side by side down towards turn 4 as well. Academy man against the former TTG man, and Vaporon's actually got the move done. So Vaporon around the outside maintains that position and is in P6 out on track. Recon, though, is getting closer. He's just messing up through turn 1 a couple of occasions, and it's just forcing Toxic and Kalsper to possibly get away. But now Recon's on the back. He means business.
He does indeed, and the Dutchman here will be looking up towards turn 1. Let's see what happens here. Toxic still leading the way ahead of Kalsper and Recon as we make our way through. Kalsper and Recon, of course, we know have shared a rivalry on track. We saw them in the final race of TTL F1. Finally have that on-track battle we've been waiting all season for, and we get to see it all over again in an entirely new championship heading through turn 3.
Yeah, don't forget about Toxic as well. Toxic probably arguably one of the most unluckiest drivers within TTL F1 last season. Kalsper now to the inside line, Toxic on the outside line. Oh, I think Kalsper is going to get this one. Is Toxic going to get the switchback? Nearly goes into the back of him. Recon is just laughing this up at the minute. He could go around the outside of turn 6, but could be in a bit of a box effect. He is going to think about going around the outside here. Recon and Toxic, oh, so close to going off track, and Toxic just about hangs on. Great defensive driving from the Brit.
Yeah, and great respect between each other. Just about enough room left there by Toxic. And Recon still going for the move around the outside despite that closing door. But still, great respect between them. At the moment, Chubbs is out of the session and he has retired. I think that's due to that incident earlier on. And unfortunately, they don't get any points if they retire this early on. They should try and get to the checker flag. They never know what's going to happen in these next 4 weeks, these next 8 races. Meanwhile, then Toxic on the back of Kalsper. It's his turn again, heading in towards turn 2, up the hill towards turn 3. He's got the inside line this time around. We've got the green flags there, so Toxic's move is legal. But you can see Kalsper instantly on the switchback there. Who's got the DRS? It is Kalsper. As we make our way now down the hill towards turn 4, you can see there Toxic thought about defending the inside, and Kalsper made that mind up for him in towards turn 4. Very close between the two of them. Both of them get a similar exit. You can see Toxic gets the better drive away from the corner, and Kalsper has to back out of that one, realising there that 6 and 7 is not really a place you can go side by side. I think he learned that with Recon just a lap ago. Kasper, meanwhile, going up the inside of Scuba, is he? Yep, he's got the move done, and up a position he goes. He started this race, remember, on those medium tyres, and is looking to try and get these soft tyres as far up the grid as possible. Now 5.3 seconds as he runs wide on the exit of 6 there. Got to be careful there. Almost lost that car, but he's gathered it up now. But he's now 5.2 behind the next car in Sean.
Yeah, Kasper's actually driving a really good race here, and he's gained quite a few positions. He's gained 8 positions in total. Vaporon's gained 11. Josh has gained 10. Recon, though, on the back of Kalsper this time. Kalsper on the back of Toxic. Recon is going to dive it down the inside on Kalsper. Can he get the move done? A little bit of banging wheels. No love lost, and Recon is through. But I'm not sure about that one, to be honest, but Recon's soon he's up to second.
He's through and up there, but Kalsper will have second thoughts about that one, heading down towards turn 4. I don't think any, if there was any love between the two of them, there won't be be any more as they battle their way through. Vaporeon and Sean battling away then through turn 3. Sean initially got ahead of Vaporeon, but with DRS, Vaporeon now gets the line through turn 4, but he actually runs a little deep there, locking up the wheels, and now Sean gets a chance to try and drive away from P6 there, as he does. Now gets into P6, into turn 6, and holds on for now against Vaporeon.
Yeah, Vaporeon looks like he might be overheating the tyres slightly. We can just see Sean now beginning to pull away by 6/10 of a second. He's just got a little bit of graining on his tyres. Same with Scuba. He's dropped now to Casper by 8/10 of a second. The mediums are just beginning to wear out. Recon, in the meantime, really means business. Nearly went into the back of Toxic. And now this should be the race lead right here. But don't discount Calspert on this.
Not at all. Here goes Recon, then up the inside of Toxic in towards turn 3. Gets that car slowed down. But there you can see Toxic trying to get the better exit, but Recon's got this one on lockdown at the moment. DRS enabled for Toxic, though, as they make their way down the hill towards turn 4. I don't think he's quite close enough for a move there. And no, he's not. Recon getting that move done. I think Recon saw that move coming through the final corner. Toxic ran wide on the exit. I mean, very wide on the exit there. Compromised his run all the way up to turn 1, and I think Recon's been planning that one ever since Toxic made that error. And that's the thing with Recon. If you make a mistake, he's going to capitalise on it.
It's like he's got peripheral vision, I think, out on track, Recon. Really just predicting the future, and he has predicted the future perfectly. I think I'm under the impression they've actually both got 3-second time penalties, and I'm not sure if Calspert has got one either. I'll quickly have a look. You can take over while I do this.
Well, absolutely, I'll take over while you do that. Recon still leading the way ahead of Toxic. 2 laps to go here, but a great run through turn 1. Not a great run for Toxic, though, through turn 1, as they now make their way up the hill through turns 2 and 3. You can see Toxic closing in. He's closing in at a rate of knots, but he's going to wait out this one until we get towards turn 4. Sean picking up a 3-second time penalty there. Now the run down towards turn 4 begins then. Toxic right on the back of Recon then as we make our way towards turn 4. Is there a chance of a move? Not yet for Toxic, and Calspert thinking the same thing as there's a lock up there from the Dutchman of Recon. Heading in towards turn 4, certainly the pressure is on for these three. Any one of these three could win this race.
Any one of these three can win, but the advantage is with Calspert. Calspert's got no penalties. Recon and Toxic have got 2 penalties. 2 penalties each, I should say. Vaporeon and Sean, by the way, is still having a right ding-dong battle. Sean trying to go around the outside of turn 6. Vaporeon on the inside. He's always going to get that move done. Vaporeon hangs on for P6, but Sean is giving him quite a fight out on track. It's brilliant to watch.
Absolutely. Sean giving Vaporeon a run for his money then. Final lap of the first race of tonight here at Austria. Both races, of course, at Austria. Toxic really close to the back of Recon then as we make our way up the hill for the final time. In this race, at least, Toxic goes to the left, then switches to the right. He's got the inside line now, heading up the hill towards turn 3. Toxic has the inside line here. What will Recon do, though? He's right on the outside, but didn't get a great exit. He'll have some DRS, though, running down the hill. He's not activated it. He can't activate it. The rear wing is still shut for Recon, then, as we make our way in towards turn 4. Recon's got to go the long way round as we ride on board with Calspert for the best view on this one. Toxic just about holds on, but I think Calspert here has been told by his engineer about the 3-second time penalties that both drivers had ahead of him. I think Calspert's just going to let Toxic and Recon battle their way towards the line, heading now in through turn 8 and onwards towards turn 9. Calspert sees the mistake of Recon, and you can see there, maybe filling the mirrors there as he makes his way around, but not too fussed about making a move. Toxic here will come around the final corner. He'll be the one to take the checkered flag. Recon picks up another 3-second time penalty, but it is Toxic who takes the checkered flag, and it is Calspert who wins race 1 here at Austria. Toxic second. Laser now up to second with those penalties added to Toxic and Recon. Josh finishing in 5th place there with Sean and Vaporeon coming towards the line there. You can see Sean and Vaporeon having a little bit of fun there. They had a great battle there. Vaporeon actually finishes ahead of Sean as Sean amounts those penalties towards the finish there. Scuba finishing in 7th. Casper in 8th place. I believe he started from P17. Sean 9th with Maze in 10th. Key in 11th. Charlie crosses the line in 12th. And Xerox will be the last of the finishers in P13. But Calspert is your first race winner of the series. 1 race down, 8 to go. Calspert takes the early lead.
Can we have another race like that next race around in Austria? Absolutely unbelievable. Insane to watch. Well done, everyone.
Well, I mean, we're going here again in about, 5 minutes' time? Yeah, I'm going to say that a race like that is on the cards, absolutely. But Kalsper takes the first win and takes the first round of 30 points here in his alternate point scoring system. He'll be very happy with that one. Great battling for the top three. And Josh there making those hard tyres last. Don't worry, Laser as well, getting all the way up the order through penalties, taking P2 at the first round of this Sprint Cup. But here are your unofficial results then for round run race 1 here in Austria. Kalsper takes the win with Laser in second, Toxic in third, with Recon fourth, Josh in fifth, Vaporeon sixth, Scuba in seventh, Casper eighth, Sean ninth, and Maze is in 10th, Charlie 11th, Xerox 12th, with Key in 13th. No points for Chubbs, Mashiro, Invictus or Carlsbury, who all retired from this race. Well, I've said it before, James. I'll say it again. What a race. That was fantastic to watch. More of the same, please.
More of the same, I think, is definitely going to come. Obviously, Kalsper now at the advantage due to the penalties. Laser as well, not picking up any penalties. Toxic and Recon just amounting 9 seconds worth of time penalties each. Great drives from Josh and Vaporon, by the way. Josh getting 10 positions from 15th to 5th. Vaporon gained 11 positions from 17th up to 6th. And we also had Scuba gain, I think, 4 positions in the end. And there was another driver who's gone off the top of my mind who gained quite a few positions. I think it was Casper gaining from 16th up to 8th. So fantastic stuff. And we've got all 17 drivers to do it once again.
Absolutely. You absolutely love to see it, don't you? But yes, so we have another race coming up, another one-shot qualifying to decide the grid as well. So don't go away. Just to bring you up to date with the calendar. Now, originally next week it was supposed to be France, but because we've only got 4 weeks until the release of the new game, I know, 4 weeks to go. It's amazing. The hype is real. But because we've only got 4 weeks to go, France has been cancelled. That means everything else moves up. So next week we will have the German Grand Prix, same format. We've got the Italian Grand Prix for round 3, and then we'll have the Belgian Grand Prix for round number 4, all one after the other, week after week. So make sure you tune in for the next 4 weeks to find out the thrilling conclusion. Now, of course, James, when it comes to an alternate point scoring system, I'm not the greatest at maths. So to throw this at me, I'm not going to deal with points. If it comes to the last race and it can be decided in the last 2 races, then maybe I'll give it a go.
You're shifting the points then to me, I think is what you're saying.
Well, you know what? Well, to be honest, James, it's official, unofficial results. I always say that because drivers can take it to the stewards. So if you do want to find out the latest results, I believe you'll be able to find them at TTL_F1, which will be the last championship that you can find standings on. So make sure you do that as well. And of course, if you are interested in racing, don't forget at TTML_F1. That's Tango Tango Mike Lima _Foxtrot 1. There you go. You know what? I twisted my leg about a year and a bit ago, and my goal was to to learn the phonetic alphabet. It's a very weird thing to learn, but when you're out of action for 6 to 8 weeks, you find things to not go mad about. And apparently, learning the phonetic alphabet was my thing to not go mad. Anyway, talk about a tangent. We should focus on the racing, or at least I should, anyway.
Yeah, we've got a second race coming up, obviously, here in Austria. But just to put that first race into perspective, we had a constant battle between Kalsper, Recon and Toxic in that race. 3 of the top drivers within TTL F1 League 1 last season really going at it. 2 champions in their own right, Kalsper and Recon. Toxic are probably, as I say, one of the most unluckiest drivers last season, I think. And then we've got the likes of Scuba coming back. It'll be so fascinating to see how these guys get on. Remember, one-shot qualifying will play a big part in who determines pole position. I think this round around, I think this one around, Josh or Toxic could take it.
Oh, how about that? Well, just to bring you up to date with the point scoring system. First place scores 30 points, second place scores 25, third place 20, fourth place 18, fifth place 15, and then it goes down in 1 point increments from 6th all the way down to 19th, scoring 1 point, with 20th not scoring a point at all. Now, considering there's only 17 drivers here tonight, no matter how much of a bad race you have, surely just try and get that car to the checkered flag.
Yeah, minimum of 3 points to every single driver, pretty much, if they finish 17th within the race. 3 points could be the difference between you winning the whole thing and losing the whole thing.
Absolutely, and when it comes to an alternate point scoring system like this, where it favours consistency, if you have a bad race, sure, you've lost out on points, but would you rather have 3 points or 0 points? I know I'd rather have 3 points.
I would rather have 3 points. I would take every single point I could get, to be honest.
And of course, don't forget, we do get 1 bonus point for the fastest lap of the race. No points scored for pole position, but in the regulations for TTML next season, that will become a thing. You'll be able to score 2 points for fastest lap when we all get started in the new game cycle, which is going to spice up qualifying, that's for sure. Less people will try, or fewer people, I should say, will try and go for the ultimate lap on the medium tyres to try and get themselves in the top 10. More people will try and go for pole position, and I think that's a great thing.
I think it's a great thing, and it should spice up the action a lot more. And with the points, with the pole position coming into play as well, it's going to be quite fascinating to find out who is going to really take. Because it could be 1 week we could have one driver on pole position, then the next week could be somebody else. It's fantastic. I think it's great for the championship.
Yeah, and especially in TTL F1 last season, more than half the races were converted from pole to the win. So getting those extra 2 points will be crucial in a championship battle. We're watching Vaporeon as he tackles turn 1 here. Of course, we've already had a fast lap here as we now make our way all the way through. Vaporeon currently leading the way. It's always interesting covering a one-shot qualifying session because you get a period of calm here, but then you get to a corner and it all muddles up, so you have no idea what anybody's doing. But Vaporeon looks like he's got an early advantage. Purple sector 1, DRS open all the way now down towards turn 4, where you've got the speed trap just before the braking zone here, turning right, trying to grab that apex. Of course, it goes downhill towards the apex, so you can try and turn in, but it can promote a little bit of understeer, especially going downhill in through those long left-handers of turns 6 and 7. Now entering the third sector. No purple lap time, or no purple sector from Vaporeon, I should say. Kalsper had an advantage there, but it's gone away, so he's obviously carrying momentum elsewhere as Vaporeon. Now in towards the final 2 corners, in towards Lauda, then in towards Rin, on towards the start-finish line. Recon, is he going to edge it out here towards the start-finish line? No, it's Kalsper. 104.2 from Kalsper. And all the time, Vaporeon was just about in the lead. Kalsper had the momentum at the end to take the second pole position of tonight.
Had a really poor final corner, and that's what cost Vaporeon. Simple as that.
Yeah, Kalsper there, 0.014 seconds he's on pole position by. And look at that, the top 4 separated by less than 1/10 of a second. Fantastically close between them then. So Kalsper on pole position for race 2. Recon in second, Vaporeon third with Toxic fourth, Carlsbury in 5th, hoping to get some points on the board. Scuba in 6th, Mashiro 7th, Sean in 8th, Casper 9th, Xerox rounds out the top 10. Charlie and Maze will be able to start on whatever tyre they like in 11th and 12th. Chubbs, Key, Josh, Invictus and Laser all not setting a lap time and having their lap time actually invalidated. Laser finished P2 last time around, starts P17. He's got it all to do in the race.
Got it all to do, but I think he's definitely got the pace, I think, Laser. And as tradition goes on a Thursday night, my prediction has gone completely wrong. I mean, Toxic was only 600ths off in 4th. Josh had an invalidation through through turn 1, so we'll just gloss over his lap.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a TTL F1 stream if you didn't get a wrong prediction, James. So at least we've got that out of the way now, and we can now focus on the race. Let's hope it is as good as the first one. If not, better. 17 drivers starting this race. We had, I believe it was 3 retirements last time out.
4, I think.
4. So hopefully we can have fewer than that as well. And hopefully the drivers start to realise that if they just make it to the end, they've got points on the board. So let's hope we can get a full grid finishing here. 18 laps, another 18 laps await us here for tonight, and a second chance for a win, second chance for points. And of course, don't forget to make sure you are subscribed to the channel down below. Hit the notification bell so you're notified every time myself goes live or James goes live. That's probably more accurate. Whenever he goes live, he seems to be commentating on about 7/8 of what goes on here at TTTV.
That's pretty accurate, I think, to be honest. But obviously we're in the Styrian Hills tonight here in Austria. And the majority of the track, I think a bit of a fun fact, I was watching the Australian Grand Prix the Austrian Grand Prix, I should say, in 2019. And I think David Croft mentioned a fact saying the majority of Austria is actually made up of hills. And I think it's something like 67% of all Austria is made up of mountains and hills.
That could be a little graphic you can have up here in the top right-hand corner or something during a Formula One race. 67% of this country is hills. If you have they say, James, to learn one new thing every day. You've just helped me achieve that, so thank you very much. Kalsper then will be leading the way. Then he'll be hoping to make it 2 out of 2 wins here tonight and pretty much get a stranglehold on this championship. Missed out on the double in fact the treble, because he won the drivers and the constructors championship for TTL F1 in the last season. He missed out on the Challenge Cup, though, and the 100% race at Silverstone, but I know he'll be determined to win one last piece of silverware here in TTL F1. He's got Recon behind, Vaporeon as well, and Toxic in P4. And if Vaporeon is as quick as he was in the last race, he should find himself comfortably in this top 4. Carlsbury as well, unlucky to retire out of the pit lane. He must have spun out those rear tyres on exit and found the wall there. Expect to see him up the order as well. And Mashiro, very rare to see an error from the Japanese driver. He starts down in P7, didn't finish in the points, or didn't finish at all in the last race. Retired, I think out of guilt rather than anything else, as he got braking all wrong in towards turn 3 and went straight on. But we now get towards the grid then for the second time here tonight, for the second time in the Austrian Grand Prix here in Spielberg. And the cars will be lining up on the grid any moment now. You can see Charlie, Chubbs, Key, Josh and Laser all starting on the medium tyres as Mays has left the session. It's not a great time to leave the session, but he should be able to rejoin because he was on the formation lap. But we are moments away from race 2 here at Austria as we await those lights to come on and signal the start of the race here. It is 5 red lights here in Spielberg. We are underway. What are the starts like? It's another great start from Kalsper, another great start from Recon, but not a great start for Vaporeon. He got a load of wheel spin. Up in towards turn 1 we go then, as we can filter our way through. Does everybody make it through clean? I think they just about do, as Toxic now making his way now up the order. P4 for him, Carlsbury in P5. As you can see, they're going 3 wide at the back there, as 2 Academy cars of TTG go side by side as they filter there now way in towards turn 3, the heavier braking zone out of the mold. Does everybody make it through nice and clean? It looked like everybody's made it their way through at least. Invictus is on the back of Laser meanwhile as he makes his way now down towards turn 4. Thought about a move, thinks about it again, up the inside in towards turn 4 and can't quite make that one stick. Charlie meanwhile is up a position, although Xerox here is having trouble. He ran wide on the exit of turn 4 there and that's cost him a bit of time. He's down to P14 now. Toxic meanwhile is under pressure from Carlsbury as we make our way over the crest once again towards turns 9 and 10. Kalsper still leading the way then as we head through Lauda and then through Rint on towards the start finish line. It is Kalsper who leads, Recon second and Vaporeon rounds out your top 3.
Yeah, Carlsbury was right on the back of Toxic coming through turn 7 and 8. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. Xerox just ran. I think he might have been caught up. No, it's just him by himself. So Xerox is through and he's down into 17th position now. Recon, though, on the back of Kalsper. Well, it's like the old TTL F1 back in the day. Kalsper and Recon going at it once again. And they're already just beginning to pull out a slight gap to Vaporon and to Toxic. And to speak about Carlsbury as well, he was on the back of Toxic trying to go down the inside of turn 7. He just overcommitted. Toxic overheated the rears slightly on that first lap. He's just got to be careful. He doesn't want to do that again.
Here comes Key on the inside of Charlie, then in towards turn 4. Can he try and make this move stick then? They give each other the room all the way through, but you can see there Charlie will have the better exit out of turn 4 and is able to go through turn 5. Still got the inside of 6, and there's really no way for Key to find his way round the outside there and has to hold off his attack for now. Galsper still leads the way then ahead of Recon. Vaporeon in 3rd, Toxic 4th with Carlsbury in 5th, Scuba in 6th, Mashiro 7th with Sean in 8th, Casper keeping him close company there in 9th place, and Josh rounds out the top 10. Chubbs 11th, Charlie 12th, Key in 13th, Laser 14th, Invictus 15th, Maze, who's disconnected at the moment, is 16th, and Xerox is in 17th place.
Top 9 are very boring at the minute. They've stayed as they are from the grid. So top 9 have pretty much remained as they are from pole position. Recon, though, is pressurising Kalsper now up the hill. There's a yellow flag in sector 1, and Victus has spun through turn 1. He's out of the race, so second DNF of the night. Maze has rejoined. Casper and Sean are having a good battle as well up the hill. Casper tried to dive bomb him down the inside. I think Sean ran wide, and Sean maintains the position for 8th position. But can Casper get the move done? He can't. He's on the back of him, but still Sean in 8th position. Recon, though, is all over the back of Kalsper.
Yeah, DRS and online as well, as we're on the third lap of racing. Carlsberg still leading the way ahead of Recon. As you can see there, Mays has rejoined the session, but now he is a solid car. And he joins in P16, but with no damage, he can still find his way up the order here.
Yeah, he's behind Zero as well, and he's only 5 tenths off Zero, so he will have DRS. But the downside to that is Vapron actually has made a mistake coming out the final corner. Toxic is through, Coldfree is through. He's up to P3 and P4. Vapron ran wide through the final corner. It's very similar, actually, to his final corner in qualifying, where he ran wide, and he's lost 2 positions as a result. Recon on the back of Calsper. Here we go. Former champion against newly crowned champion. Recon down the inside. Carlsberg gives him the space, and Recon soon is into the lead of the race, but don't imagine that Carlsberg is going to take this lightly for 1 second. It's going to be down the hill towards turn 4. Carlsberg on the inside line, Recon around the outside line, and they swap positions once again. Carlsberg in a little too deep. Recon, good actually, braking from Carlsberg in the end. I thought he was going to run wide over the curb, but Carlsberg's into the lead of the race.
Yeah, good move from Carlsberg, able to get ahead of the Dutchman as we make our way in towards the left-hander here of turn 7. Now on towards turn 8. Carlsberg hanging on for now, but Recon is right in the back of him. Look at this run that Recon's got then as we head over the hill towards turn 9. Not an overtaking opportunity, not by a long shot, but Recon's found the move. He got a great exit, a great run through 7 and 8, and the Dutchman leads again.
Absolutely unbelievable. How on earth he got the run out of turn 8 to try and get the move done and set them up in towards turn 9 at Lauda is absolutely unbelievable. Recon, though, is going to be under pressure from Carlsberg. It's just letting Toxic get a little closer, but I think Toxic is under pressure from Carlsberg and behind, and he's not really getting any closer. Carlsberg on the back of Recon, not quite close enough, though. Toxic very late on the brakes, and Casper and Sean side by side. Casper's through and he's up to 7th. Recon has just been overtaken for the lead of the race by Carlsberg.
Yeah, big skirmish here for P8 as Josh tries to find his way through. He did run into the back there of the white car of Casper as we've got 3 or 4 battles going on at the same time. Recon and Toxic now going side by side as we enter turn number 6. Toxic round the outside. He quickly realises that's not the place to be and backs out of it there. Stays in 3rd place for now.
He got caught on the outside curb as well, which would have given him a bit of wear on those tyres, so Toxic just got to be careful. Carlsberg's just made a slight mistake. Recon in 2nd is hammering him. And Toxic, oh my god, how's he recovered that? He's very wide through the final corner. How on earth he's recovered that? It's an absolute godsend. I thought he was going to go around there. Carlsberg hasn't lost any time either. Unbelievable. Toxic recovers.
Casper got up the inside of Sean there in towards turn 9. Second time we've seen that tonight as he makes his way up the order now. We've got a battle for the lead as well, developing once again up the hill through turn 2 and onwards now towards turn 3. Recon up the inside.
Oh, he's in the back.
Oh, Casper's hit from the back. Who was that?
Toxic into the back. He's got right side end plate damage, I think, or left side end plate damage. One of the end plates is off anyways. Right side end plate damage.
It is the right hand side, so Toxic now has to limp his way to that pit window. Carlsberg up the inside. You can see there, I think Toxic a little bit of understeer and also just letting them go here. He doesn't want to lose more time than he has to, and he's going to limp now towards his pit window. I don't think his pit window would be too far away. If not, it'll probably be this lap. We saw Scuba take a way into the pit lane on lap 4, so it was a very early stop for him.
Very early stop, but it could actually pay off because quite a few of these guys will probably come into the pits. There's a massive train, by the way, from Casper all the way back to Laser. Some of these guys on a set of softs, some of these guys on a set of mediums, and there's 5 cars battling out for what will be P6 because Toxic into the pits to replace his front wing.
Yeah, and go on to a set of medium tyres as well that should get him
to the end of the
race. And he's retired, actually, from the race entirely. So, not sure if that's the right call. Just put on a set of medium tyres and try and get them to the end of the race as best you can. You get some points for your troubles as well for getting to the checkered flag. Meanwhile, Sean and Casper have not stopped battling since pretty much lap 1. In towards turn 3 we go. Sean's under pressure from Josh, though, on the exit of turn 3. As we make our way now down the hill we go. On board with Josh now as he's looking at the rear wing as we head towards turn 4, but with Sean having that DRS, there's no real opportunity for Josh there to just stick a nose up the inside. We saw Josh last time around going from softs to hards in the last race. This time he's going for the medium tyres and hoping that an alternate strategy can help him. But Sean here on the soft tyre, well, he'll be glad that he's keeping up with a soft tyre runner, but not so glad that he can't find a way past.
Yeah, Casper looks like actually he could be coming into the pit lane. Sean is going to go all the way around the outside. Recon Carlsberg into the pits. Carlsberg stays out, which is quite interesting. And Josh is around the outside of whoever's coming into the pit. Who's that coming into the pit? I didn't just go around the outside of Chubbs. I'm not sure.
Well, Chubbs is down the inside here of Josh then in towards turn 1, and Chubbs gets the corner, but he's got a 3-second time penalty plus the line he took there. That's compromised his run all the way through turns 2 and 3. Josh should be up the inside here, trying to make this smooth step. Here we go, then up the inside in towards turn 3. Get that car slowed down in time. Can he get the traction off the corner? Yes, he can. Stays ahead of Chubbs, who now gets himself a 3-second time penalty for his troubles.
Oh, Vaporon! Carlsbury and Vaporon have just came into contact. I'm not sure if Carlsbury was driving it down the inside of Vaporon, but Vaporon sent in for a spin. Sorry to cut in there, Kieran.
No, absolutely. It's a battle for the lead. I have no quarrels with that whatsoever. Josh, meanwhile, still on the back of Sean then on those medium tyres, and he'll be hoping that Sean pits in sooner rather than later, because he's having real trouble getting past Sean here as we make our way through turn 8 over the crest towards turn 9, and he should be seeing Sean come into the pits, which he does. Commit all the way over to the right-hand side there. Josh has to go the long way around, and it's fine margins there between the two of them as we make our way through turn 10. So Carlsbury into the pits then. That means Josh is going to take the lead of the race for now, but of course he is yet to stop. But he's under pressure here from Chubbs right behind him.
Scuba pitted in early on, by the way. He's going to be in a net P2. I just thought I'd mention that. He's going to be in a net P2. As long as Carlsbury doesn't come out ahead of him, which he hasn't, Scuba's now in a net P2.
Absolutely. Carlsbury there just on the pit lane exit, and yeah, you're right, Scuba here has put himself in a great position. He's head ahead of Calsper, but only just. As we make our way now up the hill towards turn 3, we've got yellow flags. That is Mays just pulling over to the side to let lapped cars through. Even though he's a ghost car, it can be, well, I've experienced in the past, ghost cars can be just as distracting, if not more distracting, than, you know, real life solid cars.
Yeah, really off-putting, and to be honest, it's not the greatest thing to see on the stream either.
Well, that's very true. I think that's very harsh. You're talking about Mays like that. Of course I'm joking. Calsper, meanwhile, will be trying to make Scuba's life just a little bit difficult as he makes his way in through 7.
Josh is coming into the pit. Sorry, Chubbs around the outside. I thought it was going to be a sensational move. Josh is into the pit.
Calsper still
excited for nothing.
Calsper still on the back of Scuba then as we make our way in towards turn 10, but the longer he stays behind the Irishman, the more this is going to hurt him in the long run. So Chubb's in the lead then, but he is yet to pit. Charlie's second, but again yet to pit. Recon then becomes your effective leader, who's just set the fastest lap of the race. Didn't quite see what lap time it was because of course there's penalties coming through left, right and centre. Carlsbury picking up a penalty as well. All of these will be added up towards the end of this race. Calsper closing in on the Irishman here, but not quite close enough to try and move up towards turn 3, but he's right on the back of him. If he can get the exit out of turn 4, a little bit sideways on exit there, but now he'll get the DRS, he'll get some slipstream too, and no doubt he's turned up the ERS battery here. Calsper, will he try and move down the inside? A very late opportunity there, down the inside into 4, and Calsper there gets the move done. I think Scuba let him have that one in the long run, but he still left the door open, and Calsper took full advantage and moves up to P4.
Opportunistic, brilliant though by Calsper. Vaporon's been knocking up the penalties and behind as well. We've got Charlie and Recon side by side, and Charlie actually lagging a bit.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of confusion there. Recon went up the inside there, and a little bit of contact between them put him onto the grass. Then Chubbs wanted to come into the, Charlie wanted to come into the pit, so then he had to switch back over to the right-hand side when originally he was on the left. So very wayward there between the two of them. Luckily, though, they've managed to untangle themselves, and Recon, Calsper and Scuba are your top 3 for now.
Yeah, Carlsbury though on fresher tyres compared to everyone else out on track. I think he's got a 3-second time penalty. He should see him close up on Scuba now, but it is of age pretty much between Recon and Calsper once again. It's like we're never going to get sick of seeing these two battle, to be honest.
Absolutely not. I'll never get tired of seeing those two battle. Laser, meanwhile, starting from P17, he's currently in 8th place. He's got Josh ahead of him, tried the undercut and has gained quite a bit of time as well. He's in 8th place. Let's see how he can go from here. The rest of the runners, apart from Josh ahead of him, are on a set of medium tyres. I'd watch out for Scuba towards the end of this race. Those medium tyres could be struggling towards the final few kilometres here.
Yeah, 1.7 seconds over Carlsbury is not too bad of an advantage, to be honest, around here in Austria. It's enough to try and maintain a consistent gap towards around lap 15, lap 16, and then the tyres will start to go off. Josh, in the meantime, is on the back of Vaporon. Vaporon really struggling, I think, with his tyre wear, and you can tell because Josh is going to have him, and he's going to mincemeat him down the straight. Josh sets the fastest lap as well. It couldn't go any better for him. Josh through, and he's up to 6th.
Yeah, Vaporeon there struggled for traction on the exit of 10 there, and that was just down to him on the medium tyres. And you saw Josh there on the soft tyres, superior grip, and gets that move done. Makes it look easy when actually it isn't. In towards turn 3, and now Laser, he's called to action here because now he's got to try and find a way past Vaporeon. And with a mistake like that from Vaporeon, it's not... You don't see that very often, mistakes from Vaporeon like that. But Recon leads the way, Calsper second, Scuba in third, with Carlsbury in fourth, Mashiro up to 5th place then, with Josh in 6th, Vaporeon 7th, Laser in 8th, Chubbs 9th, Sean in 10th, Key 11th, Casper 12th, Charlie 13th, Zero in 14th, and Maze in 15th place, although at this moment in time he's currently being lapped. Of course, the great thing about the multiplayer cars is that all of them appear as white dots on a map, so you can't tell who's who.
Yeah, you can't tell who's who until you see the liveries, really. And in terms of the liveries, I think we've got a right mix, but we've got a majority of the TTG guys running their mini-league liveries, which we've been used to. There's a yellow flag in Sector 3, Chubbs is round, and that's through turn 9. So Chubbs is round through turn 9. I think he's got caught on the outside curve. I don't think there was contact. He's rejoined dangerously, though. Goodness me.
Yeah, Casper got caught out with that and lost it completely going around and took evasive action. Yeah, he took evasive action, then lost the car completely, hit the wall, front wing damage, and Casper is coming into the pits then, hopefully not to retire here. But we've got a battle for the lead going on as well between Calsper and Recon as we make our way through turn 4. Not many laps to go now.
Yeah, Josh has just done Mashiro around the outside of turn 3 as well. You might have missed that one, but Josh got the move done around the outside. Vaporeon has gone sailing down the inside of him through turn 4, down the straight, in fact, down towards turn 4. Vaporeon is through. Mashiro beginning to lose places now, and Laser, I've got to be honest, he's looking quicker out of these 4 out on track.
I'm not surprised as well because he's on the soft tyre, so in theory he should be then as they go over the crest and towards the final 2 corners of Lauda and Rint. Shiro running deep there into 9. You can see he's not got the grip there. Through turn 10 we go, and Laser is right on the back of him, but he doesn't get the drive out of the corner that maybe he was expecting. Recon, meanwhile, is under pressure from Calsper with 5 to go here, up towards turn 3. You can see Calsper going for a move up the inside, thinks twice about it, tucks back into that slipstream as we head down towards turn 4. Laser, meanwhile, gets the DRS run on Mashiro, and Mashiro just simply has no response there against Laser. Up to P7, Laser goes. Calsper again thinking about a move down towards turn 4, but it's not quite close enough yet. That battle for P1 is raging on. Scuba, meanwhile, is getting closed in by Carlsbury by just a little bit every single lap. Can Scuba try and hold on to P3 here, but can his tyres hold on as well?
Yeah, Carlsbury closing by about 2 or 3 tenths of a second on the Scuba per lap, so it is quite interesting to see. From lap 11 it was 1.7 seconds, now 9 tenths of a second. Basically, say that 2-3 tenths a lap. Recon just getting caught on the inside curve there through turn 9, and Calsper picking up a 3 second time penalty through turn 10. Could be costly, but I think Recon might have one as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going for a move up the inside, is he? No, he's not. Recon took an outside line there to open up turn 1 as much as he possibly can. With those limits there, 4 to go as Recon trying to hold on to this one. Calsper looks for a move down the inside in towards turn 3. Meanwhile, watch out behind as well. Carlsbury is right on the back of Scuba as he's tried to reel him in lap after lap, now within DRS range. We'll see how that battle goes down. There you can see Calsper in the lead right now, but Recon is looking for a move. Can he try and find one down the inside into 4? Not quite here, but he'll try and take a tight line all the way through, but he doesn't quite get the exit he wanted, not the traction there for him, and he has to hold on to P2 for now. Vaporeon has been passed by Josh, who's now 2.8 behind Carlsbury, and that could be an opportunity for him to get into the battle for the podium here, especially with Calsper and Vaporeon getting penalties here. Sean and Key battling away then in towards turn 6. Sean's got the inside line. Brilliant. Key has got the outside line, and those soft tyres, he's put them to very good use, and now Key is up to P9.
Don't really see a move around the outside through turn 7, or into turn 7, but Key has certainly done the move there. Carlsbury on the back of Scuba, not going to wait. Now, he's going to wait until turn 3 to get the move done. In fact, he's going to be done before turn 3. Recon as well on Calsper. He don't know where to turn with these 2 battles, to be honest. It's like Noah's Ark out in front. Recon and Calsper have swapped positions. Carlsbury and Scuba have swapped positions as well. So Recon into the lead of the race. Calsper could come back at him. Carlsbury up to 3rd as well. Goodness me, we're going to need quite a lot of drinks, I think, after this one.
Here comes Carlsberg down the inside in towards 4. Recon can't quite make that move stick. Meanwhile, Scuba there tried to make that DRS work for him. Didn't quite work at all. But look at this 12-lap old medium tyres. You'd have that towards the end of the race, not with 3 laps to go, 2 and a bit if you're picky. Carlsberg and Recon still battling away at the top of the field.
Recon's just picked up a 3-second time penalty as well. And he's on the back of Carlsberg. I'll tell you what, down towards turn 9 again. 2 for the price of 1. Recon through. Absolutely obliterated his ERS there, if I've got to be honest. But Recon is doing, he's instantly the race. He just made Carlsberg look like a pretty ordinary driver, to be honest. And now Carlsberg is going to try and come back at Recon, but he doesn't.
No, waits now for that long DRS straight up towards turn 3. Meanwhile, Lasers on the back of Vaporeon. We'll get onto that in a second as Carlsberg with that DRS now trying to close in on Recon. You say there, Recon used up that battery, and I thought he was going to be a goner up towards turn 1, but Carlsberg thought better of it, and that allowed Recon to recover what little battery he has left with these 1 and a bit laps to go here in Austria for this second race. Carlsberg again looking for a move down the inside, not quite there right now. Key and Sean still battling away then. Key's giving Sean plenty of room in towards turn 3, and Sean says, thank you very much, I'll take that away from you. Who gets the DRS? It's Sean. So now Key is down a little bit on DRS here, and Sean can try and hold on to P4, or can he? Because Key's not having any of it. Up the inside in towards turn 4, and he's got the move done, has he? Yes, he has. Up to P9 he goes, and now takes that position back away from Sean. That battle's not done yet, that's for sure.
Not done at all, and I think Key is using his TTL F1 League 2 instincts to great effect. Obviously, these two have been battling this season. Sean, obviously coming, I think, from TTL F1 League 1 off the top of my mind, but Sean not giving up without a fight. It's great to see these guys battling. Scuba, in the meantime, is somehow still on the back of Carlsberg. I don't know how he's on the back, but he still is. And he could get the move done here, actually, down towards turn 3. Look at the speed of the Irishman. Goodness me. Look at the Irish, not needed there. Scuba down the inside. Gets the move done, and well, that was just another obliteration of the battery right there. And Carlsberg and Recon are battling for the lead of the race. It's unbelievable.
You don't know where to turn, like you said. Carlsberg holding on to that inside line. Meanwhile, Carlsberg has to go the long way round against Scuba, then in towards turn 4. Can the Irishman hold on? Still, they run side by side, and Scuba gets the move done then, as we now make our way through. Not long to go now. Only about a 1 sector to go, if you're counting this one. Carlsberg getting the move done.
Brilliant.
As Carlsberg now makes his way towards the final couple of corners. Vaporeon is around just into the 3rd sector, but Carlsberg here will cross this line to take the checkered flag, but there's lots of penalties to dish out by the in-game stewards. Carlsberg wins on track. Now it's Recon who wins. Is there going to be any change on that? Can Carlsberg take the win? No, he can't, but Scuba goes up to 2nd, Carlsberg in 3rd, later in 4th with Josh in 5th. Carlsberg drops all the way down to 6th place with Mashiro crossing the line in 7th place. Vaporeon after that spin will finish in 8th place. Key moves now up to 8th place. Vaporeon drops to 9th. Sean in 10th. It's pointless trying to go through the standings as we go, because Charlie now is in 9th. Chubbs is in 10th. Vaporeon 11th. Sean in 12th. Casper still in 13th place. Battling away with Zero here for 14th place. Maze comes across the line a lap down in 15th place, but that's vital points for him as well. That's 5 points added to his tally just for that performance there, as Zero and Casper try and battle away towards the end of this one. Casper will feel a little bit hard done by here, in all honesty. He tried to avoid a ghost car, and that just caught him out entirely, as he now makes his way around the final corner towards that checkered flag, and he will be able to grab 13th place here tonight. And Zero rounding off there. I think he's run out of fuel. That'll be why he's dropped off dramatically there as he heads towards that start-finish line. But race 2, round 1, winner is the Dutchman in Recon. A great drive from him and great battling up and down the field.
Again, why did we get good races here in Spielberg? It's absolutely unbelievable. And this sprint series, if we get races like that, it's going to be one of the highlights of certainly F1 2019.
Absolutely, and Recon here grabbing that trophy and grabbing a win here in the series, and that's 30 points added to his championship tally as he'll spray the champagne. Not to take away anything from Scuba with a podium here in this sprint series. He drove fantastically well, and I kept writing him off with those worn medium tyres. He proved me wrong though, and finishes 2nd place in this race. A fantastic drive from him. But here are your official, unofficial results from race 2 of round number 1 here at the Austrian Grand Prix. It is Recon who takes the win ahead of Scuba, who gets no penalties whatsoever. Kalsper third and Laser in fourth, starting from P17. No penalties to his name either. Josh in 5th with Carlsbury in 6th. Mashiro in 7th with Key in 8th. Charlie 9th and Chubbs rounds out the top 10. Vaporian 11th, Sean 12th, Casper 13th, Zero in 14th, Maze in 15th, with Toxic and Invictus the retirements here from race 2 of round number 1. And as you said, James, if this was round 1, goodness knows, we're in for a good one in the next 3 rounds and the next 6 races.
Going to be fantastic to watch, and I think it is prevalent, I think, seeing Recon and Carlsberg and the likes of Toxic, Vaporon being up there for the majority of that race as well. I think fastest lap, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, went to Josh for the 105.9, so he picks up that fastest lap point, and again, he gained 10 positions, 15th up to 5th. He's making a habit of that.
He is indeed, and you kind of think if he gets qualifying right, he can really make himself a menace in this championship. But as things stand, of course, we will leave it at that because, of course, we don't really know the official, unofficial. Well, we know the official, unofficial result. We don't know the official results. If that made sense, answers on a postcard, please. But that will do it for the stream tonight. Congratulations to our 2 winners of round number 1. We'll be back next week with round number 2, where we will be going to the German Grand Prix for races there. I'm really hoping that this sprint series lives up to everything. So far, so good. It's been absolutely fantastic. Make sure you subscribe to the channel down below. Hit the notification bell so you're notified every time the channel goes live. And of course, you can follow all the social media links in the description down below. Give that a click, and all the commentators, all the series links you need to follow are there. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I've been Kieran McGinley.
I've been James Head.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.